Cita Augustinus, and you're on Native Ground. We're at the Festival Co-op at Sundance 2013, and this morning we're going to be interviewing director and producer of Muscle Shoals. This is Freddy Camalier. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
So please, can we begin with your production here at Sundance? Can you tell us about it and the title?
Yes, it's a Muscle Shoals, and it's a music documentary, but it's more than a music documentary. It's a story of a town and a place where all this incredible music came from, and that being Muscle Shoals, which is a tiny rural town in northwest Alabama.
And the name of Muscle Shoals, was a town named after something in particular?
Yeah, the Tennessee River there, before it was dammed, had the largest population of freshwater mussels anywhere, and they named it after those mussels that would grow along the shoals of the Tennessee River. Muscle Shoals is the name of a town there in northwest Alabama where many studios were popped up, but two specifically famous ones being Fame Studios and Muscle Shoals Sound Studios. And those were in the area known as Muscle Shoals, which is really sort of a quad town of 4 towns in that part of Alabama.
What was the population of the town itself before the studios came in?
I think Muscle Shoals, back when Fame was built, I think was around 8,000 people, I believe, somewhere around there.
So how did the story come to you to want to depict Muscle Shoals and the sound?
I was on a road trip with my best friend. He was moving to New Mexico, and he needed help driving his car from New York to New Mexico, and we took the back roads to the south, and we ended up in Muscle Shoals late at night one night and became fascinated and enchanted with the town and the story.
I heard that production company Fame, they literally wanted to have a different sound that was different from the Memphis sound and the country sound.
I don't know whether they wanted that. They achieved that, and they achieved their own sound, became known as the Muscle Shoals sound. I think probably what they wanted in the very beginning was just to make records and to be able to keep making records, and they did that and so much more.
If you were to describe the Muscle Shoals sound, what is that?
A lot of people have their own interpretation of it. I guess my interpretation of the Muscle Shoals sound would be a sound that's heavy bass and heavy drums, that's funky, has a lot of soul and heart and sort of rawness in the track.
We, as an audience, sometimes hear music and we have no idea of its interconnectedness with all the various artists. Can you talk about some of the artists that have had an influence with Muscle Shoals sounds or actually gone to find at Muscle Shoals sound?
Yes, so it's a huge roster of artists who've gone to Muscle Shoals and recorded there. Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, Etta James, Percy Sledge is from there. The Rolling Stones, Traffic, Jimmy Cliff, Staple Singers, Clarence Carter, Candy Staden, Paul Simon, Bob Seger, Leonard Skinner, Duane Allman. Goes on and on and on.
That's an impressive list.
Yeah.
They're so diverse, and they're all seeking something. Does it go further than just the music itself? There's a particular legend that we can talk about?
Yeah, well, I think that's one thing that we found fascinating to us as we started to learn about this story and dig into the story of Muscle Shoals and the town. We were fascinated from the get-go by the fact that this rural small town was the birthplace of all this music that we knew of, which was, soul and this R&B and this rock and roll. And that was fascinating to us in and of itself, is unbelievable. But then as we started to learn more, we saw, Sam Phillips, who was instrumental in rock and roll, was born there. And we thought, wow, that's incredible. Sam Phillips was born here. And then we found, W.C. Handy was born there. And W.C. Handy was a seminal figure in American blues. Became known as the father of the blues, which that title shouldn't go to any one person, but he was a seminal figure in American blues, and he was born in Muscle Shoals area. And so we were like, wow, that's crazy. And then so we find before any Anglos lived there that the Native Americans there, specifically the Yuchi tribe, believed that that a woman lived in the river and sang songs to them. And their word for the river was Nunashe, which translated to the singing river. And we were just fascinated by the fact that for whatever reason, this place just seemed to emanate music from its origin.
Because music is magic, and music is also medicine. What is some of the things that you want your audience to take away from what you're producing?
Boy, well, that's a big question, what I would want them to take away from it. One, learning the story is, I think, going to be fascinating and hopefully enriching for those folks to learn all this about all this music that probably has touched them in one way or another. I just hope that they feel, that they come out of the film feeling something. That's a high compliment to someone who's making a film, that you walk away having felt something, and those feelings can be, unique for the individual, but that it moves you in some way, and hopefully I would love if that were to happen.
When we look at musicians, we look at them today as commercial, that they're just trying to recycle a sound. When you were researching your work for the production here, what were some of the comments from the musicians you were able to talk to?
Well, funny you said that. There's a segment at the end of the film, but that touches on this and touches throughout the film as well. But this notion that the human element in the way they made music then, the human interaction, the musicians coming together in the room and playing together, and that was part of how you create great records, versus maybe musicians who are in different locations and who are doing their tracks in isolation and heavily produced. And so I think that's a really special thing that those guys was near dear to their process, was that they played together and they played with living, breathing musicians, and I think that is part of their sound and that magic that they were able to create.
What is one of the special stories that you were able to kind of get surprised, that even took you as a musician, that you learned something that wasn't there before?
Well, the totality of the story, for one. I mean, I just thought the totality in and of itself was just mind-blowing, so I thought that was fascinating. Individual stories, there's so many. I just, I don't even know where to begin. Duane Allman pitching his tent there and convincing Wilson Pickett to do a Beatles cover and playing Hey Jude, which one thing led to another, and then soon you had the Allman Brothers being formed out of there. I thought that was fascinating. I thought all the stories of the guys cutting records and the processes that went involved in the stories behind it, which there's several in the film, and there's plenty to choose from.
And I read that the musicians themselves had a really strong, sincere respect, that they knew that it was not a backroad studio, but something that wasn't like a polished studio, and that they were willing to live in tents and even live in trailers because you didn't have all the amenities of Memphis or Detroit.
Yeah, I think they definitely had to rough it, going to Muscle Shoals. They didn't have the accoutrements that they would have gotten in New York or Los Angeles, but that didn't deter them, because they wanted to come there and get some of that Muscle Shoals sound, and so.
And the singing lady found them.
Yes, for sure.
Can you tell us about your background?
Yeah, this is the first thing I've directed. It's been an awesome journey, and I hope to continue making more films.
You just decided to go in for the main course in life?
Kind of, yeah, kind of. We did, it's true.
Can you tell us about your background as a musician?
Just an amateur musician who, I think around 18, was given I actually traded a calculator for a guitar, and it was a good trade. And ever since then, I got hooked, and I loved playing music. And I thought I would put down playing music every day, but the last decade or so, I've not played as much as I would like, but I love music, and I consider myself a musician and love to play music, even though I don't play nearly as much as I wish I was.
Going back to the Muscle Shoals sound, going forward, and the new generation of where we are, what will be its influence, or do you think that influence is more nostalgia?
Oh no, I think it's still happening. The Civil War, John Paul White is from there, and the Civil Wars is a great band. He's from there and was raised there. The Alabama Shakes are from right down the road. I think all kinds of music will keep coming out of there. It has a musicalness to it. I don't think will go away, and I think it will continue.
Can we talk about some of the tracks that have come out of Muscle Shoals?
Sure. So Aretha Franklin cut her first hit there, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. Do Right Woman, Do Right Man. Etta James cut Tell Mama, I'd Rather Go Blind, several others there. Clarence Carter, Wilson Pickett cut Mustang Sally, Funky Broadway, Land of a Thousand Dances there. Rolling Stones cut Brown Sugar, Wild Horses, You Gotta Move there. Leonard Skinner went there to record their first versions of Freebird and Simple Man, among others. Bob Dylan recorded 2 albums there. Willie Nelson recorded there. Paul Simon recorded Kodachrome there. The Stable Singers recorded I'll Take You There and Respect Yourself. On and on and on. So there's just some few of the thousands of songs that come out of Muscle Shoals.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We're very happy to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Anacita Augustinus, and you're on Native Ground.
I'm Greg Camalier. I'm the director of Muscle Shoals, and you're on Native Ground.
Yo, I want